आराम से आराम से।
को खोना इट्स ऑलमोस्ट लाइक लूजिंग द फादर फॉर मी बिकॉज मैंने उनसे मेरी ज़िंदगी के बहुत बड़ा मेरा जो इंस्पिरेशन है वो उनके उनकी गज़लों से उनके गीतों से आया है। मेरी मम्मी ने मुझे कहा था कि तू बेटा भजन और गज़ल थोड़ा सीख ले, तू रफ़ी साहब वगैरह किशोर जी को इतना सुनता है फिल्मी, तो थोड़ा नॉन फिल्मी भी सुन ले। तो आई स्टार्टेड लिसनिंग टू अनूप जी एंड पंकज जी एंड तलत जी। ऑफकोर्स गुलाम अली जी को हम सुन रहे थे पहले, बट कमर्शियली पंकज जी की जो गज़लें थी वो मेरे बहुत काम आई, क्योंकि मैंने उनको रट लिया था पूरा। इनफैक्ट कभी कभी वो मुझे बोलते थे कि मुझे लगता है कि मुझसे ज़्यादा मेरी गज़लें तुम्हें पता है। उनकी गज़लों के लिरिक्स, म्यूज़िक ऑब्लिगेटोज, उनकी कहाँ पे ठेका कहाँ बदलता है वो सब मुझे पता था। एक बार आकाश भाई के साथ में मैं और आकाश भाई हम अर्चना पूरन सिंह जी के घर में थे, मड में। तो मैं पियानो बजा रहा था और वो गा रहे थे, वो हैरान हो रहे थे कि सारे म्यूज़िक इसको कैसे पता है। सो मेरी ज़िंदगी में पंकज जी का बहुत बहुत बड़ा हाथ है। और बहुत दुख की बात है कि उनको आखिर में हम लोग मिल नहीं पाए। मैं तो पूछता था नायाब से। एक बार याद है मुझे, तलत जी और मैं, कहाँ है तलत जी? हाँ, तलत जी और मैं, हम लोग दिल्ली में थे एक बारी। और आज तक का कुछ था, हम लोग उसके बाद में रात को बैठे खाना खाते, तो ही टोल्ड मी समथिंग सो ब्यूटीफुल, जो मुझे पहली बार मालूम पड़े कि नायाब बीमार पड़ी थी एक बार बचपन में बहुत बुरी तरीके से। तो उन्होंने कोई कसम खाई थी कि मैं इसके बाद अपनी फेवरेट चीज़ छोड़ दूंगा, और फिर उन्होंने वो छोड़ दी थी वो चीज़। और मैं तो ये कैसे कैसे आप लोग मैनेज करने वाले हो, मुझे भगवान आपको शक्ति दे। ऐसे चार जुड़े हुए लोग आपस में, कोई आसपास, सच अ ब्यूटीफुल पैक्ट दैट द फोर ऑफ यू वर। भगवान आपको शक्ति दे। फिर भी मैं ये भी कहना चाहूँगा आप लोगों को कि वो तो आपको रास्ता दिखाएंगी। ऐसे लोगों के जाने का दुख तो होता है, लेकिन इनका होना भी, ये आए दुनिया में, इसका भी महोत्सव मनाना चाहिए आपको। ये बहुत बड़े, एक पूरी जनरेशन बदली है। मुझ जैसा सिंगर खड़ा है और बोल रहा है कि मैंने, हर लोगों ने प्रैक्टिस करता था इनकी गाने सुन सुन के गज़लें, कहा कि आई आई हैव लर्न सो मच फ्रॉम हिम, ही मेरे अलावा इन्होंने कितनों को इम्पैक्ट किया होगा इनकी। तो ऐसे ऐसे लोग तो बहुत चुन के भगवान भेजता है। तो उनके जाने का दुख तो है, लेकिन वो इस दुनिया में आए थे और रहे, इसका हमको हमको बहुत सेलिब्रेट करना चाहिए कि एक आदमी। और आप लोगों के पापा, आपके तो सच अ स्पेशल मैन, एंड यू सो लकी दैट यू ऑल, आप, आपके हस्बैंड और आपके पापा पंकज उदास जी, ऑल द बेस्ट, मे गॉड गिव यू स्ट्रेंथ।
It's taken me all of a couple of days to kind of get myself together to do this, but uh, I didn't want to leave without saying a couple of words. Um, Everybody has already mentioned how amazing of a person he is, but I think what he was with us when, just when we were sitting and just not doing anything, I just want to share a couple of things about that. Um, as you know that I've not always been much, I don't really, I'm not as much in front of people as much as Nayab is. But being the youngest one, I was always, meaning for him, he never ever made me feel that, just because if I didn't want to be in front of people, it was something wrong. He believes so much in your personal choice of being who you are. And he always stressed on that. He never forced us for anything, whether it was religion, whether it was even something that he never forced us into music. It was just everything, whatever you want and how you want to do it. And I think a lot of people always thought that, your children are going to get spoiled. You don't say anything. I said, not once has he ever raised a hand on us or screamed at us. So I've never heard him say a wrong word for anybody. But I think that freedom and that confidence in us turned out to be the way that he actually wanted it. We both turned out to be that much more considerate, that much more wanting to help people, and so very vigilant of our own selves. He was such a bright light for us. I don't think anything can compare to that. He was a great believer in believing in yourself. I think that has been, that has been something that he has always been with from his childhood all the way up to now. The amount of faith that he had in Nayab and myself was, I don't think that I've seen that in a lot of people. We were his sons and not his daughters. Even through all of his tedious tours and everything, he held us in our childhood across everywhere. It didn't matter whether he was performing 4 nights in a row, 3 nights in a row. We would always be, if you've seen our pictures, we would always just be in his hand. And that's what it was. He always carried us. His dedication to his family, that is his parents, my mom's parents, was always so very visible and so very natural. His love and adulations for his brothers was a crown jewel for him. Mota Kaka paved the way for them to come over here, and then Niru Kaka and him followed. And till date, that is something that he considered every day of his life. Niru Kaka and him have practically spent, I think, I don't know, more than 30 years of their life, like being with each other without leaving each other for a single second. He always stressed on the fact that where he came from and where he is, in his entire life, he has never ever once forgotten the people who have helped him to be where he is. He did whatever he could and beyond for all of those people who had any part to play in his career, in his life, in his family. His passion and love for his music is what drove him always, and through his darkest moments as well as his brightest ones. We are very privileged to have known music because of him. We sometimes don't value the fact that, that he was that 1 feet away, singing to us, and I feel glad that whenever I did get to understand that, I appreciated that so much more. Everybody knows him to sing his songs, but when he did his riyaz, which was every day, there was a very different side of him that you would get to see. Uh, I tried my own hand at music when I was young, and it didn't work out. And you know that I think Dad always wanted Karthik and myself to pursue music despite our, meaning maybe our main occupation. And come COVID, uh, it happened almost, I don't know whether it was what it was, but I kind of picked up again on music, and I kept thinking in my mind that, you know, that why didn't it happen when I was younger, and why has it happened right now? And he just told me something. He said, no matter what you do, music will find a way to reach you and to be with you. He said that's what it did for me. So even if it happened that many years later, I'm glad it did, because I think that was something that he really wanted. Even after every performance, he cherished our opinion so much, no matter whether, it didn't matter knowing music or not. We would get home and he was like, Riva, was it okay today? And I would be like, meaning sometimes I was at a loss of words, but I really tried to, in my own way, give him the suggestion that I felt as an onlooker. And he really did take that into regard in the best way possible, meaning someone like him of his stature. He just wanted everybody else to be in accord with him. I think one of the few things that I really admired so much about him was his judgment of his audience. Whenever he played or sang, he said, this is what I'm singing for myself, but when I perform, I'm performing for my audience. And he really knew what he had to do in every difficult situation, easy, anything. He always just knew what to do. And even for all the people who organized his shows, I mean, he would be to the particular time, to the T at every single one of his concerts. Even when everybody would, like everybody knows this at the airport, everybody would just bombard him for pictures. And there were so many times when I told him that, Dad, it's okay, like, you can say no. And he was like, no, I can't, because I am what I am because of these people. And if I say no to them, then it's a disrespect to the gift that I've been given. And that, I think all these things have struck such a chord in us that these are like life lessons to have going forward. I don't know if many people know, but all his school life, he studied in a Gujarati medium. When he came to Bombay, he wanted to pursue science because he actually wanted to be a doctor. But all of that was in English. And if you ask me today that, post your 10th, just switch to a different language, even someone like me would say, I'm sorry, but I can't do that. And he really works so hard to cross that barrier, and I'm sure that nobody can even think that he did not know English or he was not taught that from his younger ages. I don't think that it would be correct for me to not mention this, but for Nayab and myself, I mean, uh, him and mom have always been, they have actually, I would say that it's close to we had God living with us. The both of them have done so much for everybody, but what they did for us is something that I don't think that I can say it in words. They have been not our backbone, but everybody else's as well. To both of us, they were always just perfect. And even when I was younger and, I would be like, you love me the most. And he was like, no, she comes first. He adored her so much. There wouldn't be a second where he just had to not see her and he will be like, where is she? Oh, better half of their lives together. And I'm still saying that I still cannot feel the grief that they feel. They've always been our heroes. I want to mention this about all his musicians, every single person that he played with. He had so much love and admiration for the art that they worshipped of music. I know that there is a time when, everybody used to be like, he's spoiling his musicians. But he never felt once that, I'm above them. He always would sit them down, and every single place, wherever they went, they would eat together. Even if there was some issue of food, it was almost a given that he would get food arranged from anywhere for them. I think he was so very considerate about not only just music, but anybody in any field. He wanted that due to be given to people that, they did an X or Y thing. I think all his life he supported poets so much because, to be very honest, it's not an easy job to be a poet today. It wasn't even at that time. He has given so much to newcomers who came into this field. At the time that he decided that he just wanted to do ghazal, like, people laughed him off and said, are you crazy? I mean, like, you can't make a living out of that. But he was so strong and confident and so very willing to kind of get that genre to a point where, he said, I want the world to know what ghazal is, and I want to do it myself. And at the same time, I want to say that he also knew when to say no, because at that time when he wasn't anything, and other people told him, you need to do an X thing or you need to do something else, and he would be like, no, this is what I want to do and this is what I will take forward. I think he had more guts than anybody that I can imagine. it, people can't do that anymore in today's day and life. He stood his ground and he owned it. Didn't matter what anybody else said. I think the one thing that will probably stay with me forever is he was the most adaptable person that I knew. That is from the 80s to now. He would always be, meaning with the news for anything that was technologically related. And sometimes even I would be like, I don't know why Facebook is doing this, and I don't know why Instagram is doing this, it's not working. And he would be like, no, there is an update that is there, and it's just, they change things every day, but we'll just work around it. And even someone like me who had issues like, with these small things, but he was just, meaning adaptable to a different level, that it didn't matter. I want to mention that he was not only for his charities, that is his Thalassaemic Children and the Cancer Patients Aid Association, but he is and will always be such a great animal lover. I think that touch of being so very kind and generous uh, extended out to his love for animals, and he couldn't take any cruelty to them. If he would, then we would actually have a house filled with all the dogs, meaning who don't have homes today. He worked extensively for that as well, and I think that's not something that a lot of people do know. He was not only the best husband or the best father, but he was always a great friend. Like, he had friends from the age of 15, 20, 25. The age was never a barometer for him to, strike up a conversation with anybody. I think in these last few days, people have come from across the world, and that speaks volumes for the kind of person he was. I don't think that I can know or even think of how much he has done for so many people. And I don't even think that I will, because, he used to never say it. He just never said it. An extremely special person. His music is not the only thing that personified him. He was so much more than that. His passion for everything is something that we need to keep and take with us forward. I got to know him more as a friend over these last 5 years than anybody. I'm not going to have him to pull mom's leg that we would always do. But I also know one thing, that he's, even from that day, I think he's with us. I feel it in my heart. And nothing could ever justify this. But I know that he's watching over us. And I think he's with everybody whose life he touched in a very special way. He was not one to really say things. He would just do it. He would not divulge into things talk about it too much. It was just his actions that always spoke louder. He loved all of us and he loved his friends. He loved his musicians. And he would really, without exaggerating it, he would go out of his way to help anybody he could, even though if he did not have the means. I want to thank everybody for being here and everybody who has come from multiple parts of the world. I think he would be really happy to see all of you all. I don't think that I could ever in words I don't know how to do it, to be very honest. But I just want everybody to collectively pray that his soul gets eternal peace. And we will take forward his wishes in terms of whatever work that he had left to do. And I really feel that it's not just a friend or a father or a husband or a brother, but the world has lost an immaculate human being who, even in these times, I feel that went more than leaps and bounds for the people who he loved. And I truly feel that we lost him, but I feel that heaven gained an angel. And he will live on through his music and through us and through the numerous accounts that he's shared with people all across his life. He was extremely special, and I don't think that anything could fill that void. But I know that he's there with us, and he always will be. Thank you so much.
I'd like to first thank everyone for coming here today and all of the wonderful messages of condolences, support, love that we have received over the last 4-5 days. Pankaj Kaka was a wonderful human being, a kind, gentle soul. I had the fortune of spending most of my summer holidays with him in Bombay. He had a wonderful morning routine. He would wake up every morning, sit on the same chair, have his tea, have his water. And he used to go through this really big pile of newspapers in the morning. Gujarati, Hindi, English newspapers. And I used to think, Kaka, what a boring way to start your day. But actually, he was incredibly well-read, well-informed. You could have a conversation with him about any topic, and he would be able to hold his own. Sorry. Throughout his life, as you know, as an artist, he achieved much success. And even though that success was there, every artist has a struggle, a period in their life where they have to work towards their success. He often used to recite a शेर from his ghazal कि सुरखरू होता है इंसान ठोकरे खाने के बाद रंग लाती है हिना पत्थर पे पिस जाने के बाद. So that was it encapsulates his struggle in those early days before he reached success. And during that struggle, there was really only one person that was his backbone, his champion, and that was his wife, Farida Masi. She was, and till the last day, a completely devoted wife. She, although Kaka had a lot of self-efficacy, the most I've seen in any human being, Masi was the driving force and the impetus for him to explore his art, to explore his creativity with freedom and with no, I would say, with no restrictions that he would feel impeded by. His two daughters, Nayab and Reva, who he fondly called Babal and Bakul, they have imbibed, emulated some of his finest qualities. As most of you who knew Kaka knew, he had a wicked sense of humor. And Reva has got that same wicked sense of humor. His work ethic is an inspiration for all of us as a family. And Nayab has now, through his guidance over the years, has become one of the finest event organizers in India. Father. With two girls, he never stopped them from pursuing anything in life, whatever they put their heart towards. And in fact, he was their champion. He was their biggest supporter. And, if I may say so, they brought him an incredible sense of joy and pride. Invariably, when we used to talk on the phone, like any self-respecting Indian, Kaka was a huge cricket fan. Invariably, when we used to speak on the phone after the usual, hello, hi, Kartubai, how are things? He would eventually ask me, did you watch the match? And the way he asked the question would usually be an indication to how well or bad India performed. Everyone knows of his wonderful work with charities. Two that were very, very close to his heart was Patients Aid Thalassaemic Unit Trust, Patients Association Thalassaemic Unit Trust. Because he was exposed to kids with thalassemia, which currently still has no cure, he worked tirelessly for that organization, and through Khazana, generated a lot of funds for that organization. Cancer Patients Aid Association is another one that was very close to his heart, because his father passed away from cancer. And not only did he try to generate funds, but also raise a lot of awareness for both of these diseases. The final thing I will say is that Kaka was a very practical man. He was someone who always maintained that the show will and must go on. So I'll end by sharing a sher from one of his ghazals that was released in 1983. He tamam umr kahan koi saath deta hai. मैं जानता हूं मगर थोड़ी दूर साथ चलो. Thank you. I'd like to call upon Akash Lodhia to say a few words.
Begun in 1984, 40 years ago, when my father promoted Pankaj Uncle for concerts to the Fiji Islands. We were only music lovers and fans at that time. However, our relationship evolved into friendship and later as family. Our families maintained a close association and have built a strong bond over the last 40 years. I had a great privilege of also touring with Pankaj Uncle on few occasions. And on his tour to Australia in 2018, he expressed to me his dream of one day performing at the iconic Sydney Opera House. That dream became a reality in September 2022. Pankaj Uncle played a record sold-out concert to celebrate 40 years of his musical journey. A concert that will forever be etched as his career highlight. Extremely proud of Nayab in Reva, and rightly so. I noticed that prior to any concert, Pankaj Uncle would make it a point to speak to Faridanti, Nayab in Reva. He would call
So my association with Pankaj ji started in 2015. Like I always actually grew up listening to him. I was in, I think, grade 11 when his first album came, and दीवारों से मिलकर रोना अच्छा लगता है was the most favorite, and झील में चांद नज़र आए थी हसरत उसकी. और after that we used to meet sometimes, but I was never ever, in talks with him. And during Khazana, when 2015 I came to perform for the first time, and instantly I was taken as part of this family called Khazana. And Nayab, Reva, we became close instantly, and especially Nayab, because she's always there to organize Khazana. And Pankaj ji, like Dr. Samdhani said, I never ever heard him say anything negative about anyone, which is so rare. I mean, it's difficult to find such people. And every time I would tell him that, every time I feel, okay, I've done this much journey in this year, and I'll come meet him and see, and then I'll say, oh my God, so much patience, still I need to practice. So much patience, so much reverence, so much gratitude, so much humility, and especially, it's very difficult to not talk against anyone. It's really, really difficult to not say a single word negative about someone. And we all know things are happening while organizing Khazana also. So much happens behind the, curtains and behind the scenes, like so much goes on. But he was always so graceful, gracious, full of gratitude for everyone, even for the singers who would come, who were given a chance. And the way he would entertain and encourage and inspire the young artists as well, be it a kid. Because in Khazana, in one of the edition, I think we had a 5-year-old girl perform, because she told me just a few months back that I sang there, and now she's a big girl, and she's been singing professionally. So that's how Pankaj ji was, and I think he still is an inspiration. And the work of keeping Ghazal alive when nobody was believing in it, and every time the press would ask, and he would say, no, Ghazal is very much in vogue. And the contest we were doing, in that how the entries would come from smallest parts of India, and what wonderful artists we would get to hear. And he would always say that this should never stop, except for 2020, which was the strongest year of pandemic, every year the show was put up. In 21 and 22 we did, I think 21 we did online and 22 as well, and then 23rd we did in person. I think in 22 also, I'm forgetting. But the thing is, I'm going to miss him a lot, like everyone else. Yes, his music there too is there with us. Still, there was so much to learn from him. As a human being, आर्टिस्ट तो बहुत अच्छे होते हैं, बट इंसान इतने अच्छा होना इज़ रेयर, एंड वो हमें कांस्टेंट, वी नीड टू बी इन सच कंपनी टू बिकम better and better human being. So, and I also told Nayab and Farida ji that we must keep doing Khazana, and we should do all that is in our capacity with everyone's support, and I'm always there. Even Vishal has conveyed that he's going to be there to support Nayab and everyone. Thank you.
But I was angry. I was very, very angry. How could he do this? This is cheating. Pankaj ji, you're one person with whom death is inconceivable. And now we have to face this reality. That day I was so angry and I lost. I lost to him. I think my family and I have lost a member, a gem. Let me tell you about an incident that comes to my mind now, which I hope brings a smile on your face, because that's what Pankaj was, always smiling. We had shot some music videos in South Africa. This is early 90s, with a VHS camera, and this little boy Rakesh holding a tape recorder for lip sync. Nahi dil lubhata koi. That is how I will sum up my friendship with him. Starting off from very different worlds and then becoming the best of friends. It'll be impossible to accept that he is no more with us, but until we meet somewhere, sometime, rest in peace. Alvida dost. Thank you.
I think we'll stop now here briefly. If you'd like to pay your condolences to the family. Thank you.
विशाल इधर है, विशाल उधर है, कौन बाइट करेगा? चल पकड़।
मैं जब मुंबई में बिल्कुल नया आया था, मैं कानपुर से यहाँ पे आया था, तब धीरे धीरे ये गज़ल और भजन एकदम से ज़ोर पकड़ रहा था। तब मुझे ये भी नहीं मालूम था, तब पंकज जी बिल्कुल नए गज़ल और उसमें आ रहे थे। तो मुझे कहीं से एक टिकट मिल गया, कोई लेके गया मुझे एक पेडर रोड में एक छोटा सा ऑडिटोरियम है, उसमें गया और मुझे पीछे बैठने का मौका मिला। तब मैंने उनको सुना था, मैंने कहा इनका नाम क्या है, तब भी नाम नहीं मालूम था। एकदम से विदिन 15 डेज़ मैंने इस आदमी को 15 दिन, 1 महीने, 2 महीने के अंदर यूं करके रॉकेट की तरह, मिसाइल की तरह चढ़ते हुए देखा है। एंड अपने आप में इन्होंने एक जो गज़ल के रहते हुए बड़े दिग्गजों के बीच में उन्होंने गज़ल को इतनी सरलता, इतने ईजीली गज़ल को हर लोगों तक पहुंचाया। हैट्स ऑफ, ग्रेट पॉसिबल, लव यू ऑलवेज। परम आत्मा के साथ पंकज जी, वी लव यू, थैंक यू। चलिए, थैंक यू।
हाँ जी, हाँ, बस मैं कहूँगी कि जैसे रोशनी चली जाती है ना, और फिर अब उसमें जो उम्मीद है और जो रोशनी की जो किरण मिलती है वो इससे मिलती है कि हमको उनका इतना साथ मिला, जिसमें उनसे इतना सीखने को मिला। और मुझे ऐसा भी लगता है, क्योंकि हम ख़जाना करते रहेंगे, हम गज़ल को, हमारी जितनी अपनी एक हैसियत है उसमें जो भी कैपेसिटी में हम उसको बंद नहीं करेंगे। और जैसे जो भी थैलेसेमिया पेशेंट्स के लिए और कैंसर पेशेंट्स के लिए उसके थ्रू फंड्स भी इकट्ठे होते थे, वो नायाब के साथ उसमें रहेंगे ज़रूर। तो मुझे लगता है कि अभी यही बात हो रही थी कि वो ओझल हो गए हैं, क्योंकि ऑब्वियसली बड़ा ताज़ा है तो बड़ा मुश्किल है हमारे लिए, क्योंकि हमको फ़िज़िकल प्रेजेंस बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट होती है। लेकिन वो गाइड करेंगे, क्योंकि वो जितने अच्छे इंसान रहे हैं, कलाकार बहुत अच्छे थे, लेकिन कलाकार के तौर पे तो हमारे साथ उनका म्यूज़िक है, और इंसान के तौर पे जो बहुत कुछ सीखना रह गया, तो वो गाइडेंस मिलती रहेगी ऐसे लगता है। क्योंकि जब हम उनके काम करेंगे, उनके ही सिखाई या उनके जो शुरू की उन्होंने ये 22 साल से जर्नी, इसके जब हिस्सा बनेंगे, अब जिम्मेदारी आ गई है और शिद्दत से करेंगे, तो आई एम श्योर कि वो गाइडेंस मिलती रहेगी। वो और उनकी जो इतनी गुडविल है उसमें मुझे लगता है कि सब लोग बहुत साथ देंगे हमारा।
आज हम किस तरह से याद करते हैं?
पंकज और मैं बहुत कम उम्र से एक दूसरे को जानते थे। पंकज ने जब जीवन में गाना शुरू किया तो पूज्य पापा के ही गीत गाता था। तीनों भाई बहुत सम्मान देते थे मुकेश जी को, और हम सब में ही बहुत आत्मीयता हमेशा रही। मनहर भाई से तो बहुत ज़्यादा। फिर पंकज और मेरी दोस्ती बढ़ी और उसको आसमान छूते हुए मैंने देखा है। उसके परिवार को, खूबसूरत परिवार को, फरीदा को और बच्चों को, रीवा और नायाब को और अब ओजस को, सबको मैं बहुत निकट से जानता हूँ। भगवान उनको शक्ति दे। पंकज ने गायन के क्षेत्र में तो नाम बहुत किया ही, मगर आपको मालूम नहीं कि जिस बीमारी का वो अंत में शिकार बना, उस बीमारी के लिए इतना काम किया है पंकज ने कि मैं बता नहीं सकता आपको। परमात्मा उसकी आत्मा को शांति दे और परिवार सदस्यों को शक्ति दे, ये मेरी प्रार्थना।
अरे रुक जाए। इसकी छोटी क्यूट है ना। पीछे पीछे मुझे तो बात करेंगे इंस्पायर्ड सो मेनी पीपल। आज हम मुड़ के जब देखते हैं
एज अ गज़ल किंग और अपने क्षेत्र में तो डेली आइकॉन लेजेंड बहुत बड़े थे अपने क्षेत्र के, बट उसके अलावा इंसान बहुत अच्छे थे, बहुत ही प्यारे, बहुत ही हंसमुख, काइंड, स्वीट, जेंटल, चार्मिंग, और सबकी देखभाल करना, सबको बहुत प्यार से सबसे मिलना, और जब भी पंकज जी मैं उसके चेहरे का मुस्कुराता हुआ चेहरा नजर आता मुझे। क्या कहूँ मैं?
He has left the legacy behind.
Yes, he left the legacy behind. I'm too small to say anything about such a big bridge. May God give his family the strength to bear this loss. I can imagine उनके जाने के बाद उन्हें कैसा लग रहा है।
Yes, प्रिया से बात हुई आपकी, what she was telling.
आंखें सब बोल रही हैं, क्या और क्या सब बीत रही है, और यही भी है, और क्या हमारे सारे पिलर लेके करके हमें छोड़ रहे हैं, जैसे अनाथ हो गए, सब हमारे सीनियर जिन्हें देख कर हम
They are giving blessings from upstairs.
सब जा रहे हैं, हमारी ज़मीन धरती ज़मीन हिल रही है, मतलब we are all very shaking ground. Music is on very shaking ground.
Thank you. Take care.
Rakesh, come on now. Rakesh, go down to the car. Who's with you? Would you like to have?
नहीं
This is not place for